Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Lisa's Love and Light. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for being patient. Um, it's been a long day for me because my schedule has been changed a little bit around. So, having tea, sitting down to chat with you guys and to encourage you to be the best you can be and never give up on yourself. I hope everyone had a good day and that these messages are helping you guys. I know that, things can sometimes feel like you may have days where you just don't feel like doing anything. I get it. I understand that because I have those days myself, and I haven't, like too long ago, came in. Certain errands and things I got to do that I don't feel like doing, but I just get out there and do what I have to do. You guys know how that is. So I hope everything is going well. And thank you for the new subscribers. Welcome here. What we do on this channel, I talk to you guys about my personal experiences with grief, pain, drama, toxicity, and then I talk about the pain that it caused me and how I got through it without having a in-person like support system. God was my support, and how I had to climb through everything to get from A to B to C. So I'm hoping that these messages are resonating with you because each and every day that I show up here, I talk about different ways, different stories of things that happen. Let me not say stories, but experiences that happened to me. And I use metaphors and talk about ways that I've gotten through it. So let's get into this topic of discussion today. But before I get into it, I want to talk to you guys a minute about something. Um, I'm always like talking about ways to heal pain, etc. One of the things that I do want to say to you guys is that love, true love, is not going to tear you down. True love, when someone truly loves you, they're not going to tear you down. They're not going to be envious of everything that you built from the ground up. They're not going to try to compete with you. They're not going to be jealous of you. They're going to be there to support you, build you up, motivate you. Nothing is perfect. However, it's when it's love and when it's not. Women, men, listen to your intuition because it never leads you down the wrong path. And from the things that I'm sharing with you, I know this wasn't love, because love is not going to make you feel less than zero. Love is not going to lower your self esteem. Anyone who's coming into your life with these traits are, these things are toxic, you know, and I see these things for what they are because I've been through them 1,000 times. And I always tell you guys that life is about a reason, a season. People, situations come into your life for a reason, a season, a lifetime, or a lesson. And for me, many of these things have been lessons. And I talk about it here on this channel because I want to help individuals as God helped me, because when you feel those walls closing in because of situations that occur in your life, some people don't make it. And we want to help people here on this channel. That's what I want to do by sharing how I got through it, because something might resonate with you and may help you with your own situations that you might be currently going through. Don't give up. Just keep pushing through. You will see the results. So, with that being said, let's get into the topic of discussion: strive for inner peace. Never allow anyone to distract you from healing, your pain and grief and trauma and things that affected you, your inner child, and affected your life. You have to heal those things in order to get rid of the pain, to grow and to evolve and to take, so that your mental and physical health can be okay. As you heal these pains and learn lessons, you grow stronger. I promise you that. I have grown stronger from all these lessons and pain and everything that I've gone through. It's been hell, but the lessons, once you learn them, you grow stronger. And not only do you grow stronger, people, is that when you've gone through lesson and you had to repeat them 1,000 times or whatever, then you begin to see what it looks like. So you can detour away from it and not fall right back in the trap because you've already learned the lesson. That door gets closed and padlocked, and then you can move on. And I didn't know this, understand this at first. What was happening with me is that I was repeating them, over and over again, and the pain was worse and worse, and the lesson was worse each time that wheel spun around and that lesson came back. It was worse than ever. So now I try to learn them as sooner than later, and as I grew stronger through all these trials and tribulation and trauma and stuff people have done to me, as I grew stronger, I started to experience the inner peace because the self care, the self love. You know, I have learned to become unbothered with the drama and the toxicity around me. And some people like that stuff, but me, I tune it out. I have no more room in my life for toxicity and drama. For me, the experience of pain and betrayal, I'm going to explain it to you like this, guys. Bear with me. I have some notes because I don't want to forget the points that I want to make here today. For me, going through pain, betrayal, that you would never expect from individuals, felt like I was left behind on a sinking Titanic, while the haters were able to get away in a safety net boat. That's how I felt with all this that happened to me not so long ago. And in the aftermath of the wreckage, they returned to see the damage, not expecting anything positive from it. However, God had delivered me from the dirt and ashes and brought me to a place of safety, which no one expected. They just expected I wasn't going to make it. And for a while, I thought the same thing, people. Things were so bad and low to the ground. That's how I felt, but God lifted me up as I asked Him for help. And as I prayed to Him day and night and day, asking God for help because it was too much. It felt like the walls were closing in and they were about to, take hold. The point of this story is this, is that because of those things that happened to me, I was able to see the true colors behind the mask because I was the type of person, an old version of myself was making excuses for people's bad toxic behavior. Well, he or she had a childhood, where this happened to them, that happened, blah blah. Well, I had things happen to me in my childhood, but we have to heal those things, and not let hurt cause us to hurt other people, because when you hurt other people, what you put out in the universe comes back to you, and when we don't heal these things, you know, we do things to other people and to ourselves. We never get through it, and we have to look at what's happened to us, the pain and the things. In my house, when I grew up in my household as a child, what happens in this house stays in this house. Nobody heals from that, people. If that was a thing today, nobody would ever heal. What happens in this house stays in this house. You can't heal, you can't grow, you can't evolve from those things. I had to be sat down to see the mask that people were wearing, the mask that they had on, because the deception behind it, what their true intentions were towards me, which wasn't anything good. Therefore, I could no longer deny the truth of it all because when I was in 2020 and everything started to fall apart, I lost my mother, my dog. I lost 10 people out of my life, one of my good friends, people dropping dead every other week, people. And just being sat down, you can't go anywhere because we're in a shutdown. And it was just getting worse and worse and worse. And I was praying to God, asking God to help me, but God was teaching me to look at these lessons I was going through. Stop giving people chances that they don't deserve. These people don't care about you. These haters don't care. They want to use and abuse. And I was making excuses. It hit me like a ton of bricks, because when I was going through all this death and all this stuff was happening around me, nobody was there to support me and say, Lisa, I got your back. And a lot of these people, I had their back, listening to them at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the morning when I knew I had to get up at 4, and they talking about this and that that's happening. And I'm still trying to encourage them, but they are behind the scenes being deceptive when it came to me. These haters showed me in my time of need that they did not care if I swim or drown. They were nowhere around. So I didn't use the metaphor of the Titanic because they got away and was doing whatever and left me behind. And when I was sat down, and the way I really saw these things is when I reached out to my therapist and started to do the work. And the work was slow and it was painful because I didn't want to look at myself. I didn't want to do any of this. So many sessions, which we had by Zoom, we just looked at each other. He said, "You want some? Do you need to talk about anything today?" And I would just sit and stare. And then we would come back on again the next week. But I kept showing up. And then I started to do the work, as the pain started to get to feel unbearable at times. I started to look at myself and ask myself, why was I in this pain? Why was this happening? Because a lot of it was lessons unlearned. And I had to keep going through this stuff until I learned these lessons. And when I saw the truth, I decided I was going to swim. And I reached out to God and said, God, I need your help. I need you. I can't do this by myself. And that's when God heard me and answered my prayer and started helping me as I put forth the effort to help myself. He dusted me off and took me under his protection and care. And the work was hard, people, because I was in tears a lot, especially when I lost my mother and my dog. And it's just like everything felt like it was just down to the ground. And it was for a minute. And as I continue to move forward, and do the work, and it felt hard and to heal these wounds. And as I went through all of this, God strengthened me. He turned my pain into power, people. And then I started to make vows to God and kept those vows. And as I put forth the effort, step by step, God was in the background taking 2, 3, 4 steps on my behalf. And this is not stories I'm making up. These are live experiences that I had, miracles that God did, things that happened that no man or woman can explain. And it's coming directly from God's hand. He allowed me to grow and to heal and to go through all of this so that I can turn my pain into power and I can be a testimony and a blessing in somebody else's life. Because also I started to think and realize when a friend of mine who was there encouraging me, and he committed suicide. And I'm like, this is, and I understood, maybe, what he was going through. Maybe I didn't understand it to that degree, but it doesn't have to be that way. And when that happened, it just snapped something within myself that this is not okay, that people need help, and that when your mental and physical health is affected, everything in your whole world will come crashing down if you don't do self-care. And I constantly ask myself, why did this man have to take his life? And then I thought about other people who are in so much pain, who do not communicate what they're going through, who may be in isolation somewhere, thinking the same way. And we need to help people. We live in a world today where people don't care about nobody. I got mine, I don't care about nobody else kind of attitude. And that is not the way that we should be. That's not what we should be doing. We should be helping other people. even if you're outside, because you don't know what somebody is thinking. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what their life is unless you have a conversation with them. And even then, they may not tell you everything or anything that they may be going through. A kind word, a gesture. How you doing today? I do it all the time, many times, not all the time, but many times when I'm out and about doing errands and going about my day, I talk to people. People are in pain. They're going through a lot. And when somebody act like they don't care or give a damn about it, it just brings down their vibration and brings up their depression. And then people start having these kind of thoughts. Nobody should be in that today. Nobody should have to have that where they feel so much pain and despair that they have to deal and think in that manner. That should never be the case. And when I'm out and I'm talking to other people, I encourage them. All these problems and trials and tribulations that people thought was going to take me out, God lifted me up, and all these things strengthened me. Not only did it strengthen me, what it made me do is rely on God and know that God is my source, and that I can help other people because the shoes that they're walking in, I've already gone through. And believe me, I still have days, where things are, you know, not so great. We all get up, every day it's not going to be happy, but I know how to get through it now, and I turn to God, and like I talk a lot in these metaphors about carrying tons of bricks. What I was doing is carrying other people's burdens. It is not my job to carry anybody else's burdens. Even my own burdens, I lift them up and give them to God. And when people try to throw burdens my way, those get lifted up to God too. Now they're throwing them at God, and God is just going to return them to them. I have no room for toxicity, no room for hate, no room for abuse or negativity. Those things I tune out, and I set boundaries all the time. People, when you're in this journey to heal and you're serious about healing your mental and physical health, then sometimes, many times, you have to set boundaries. You know, you have to let people know you're focused on this, because without your mental and physical health, you can't help anybody or yourself or do anything. And it's important to keep take doing self-care. And as you self-care, you start to love yourself, and you start to know that you're worth it. And in my case, I was settling for less than what I deserved. Settling for people who was always betraying me, being deceptive, lying, cheating, doing whatever, trying to see what they can get, etc. And once I learned those lessons and learned that I'm worth it and I don't have to settle for those things, then that's when it stopped, because the lessons were learned. And then those doors, not only was I setting boundaries, but people were crossing those boundaries. So then I learned to cut off, block, and delete. And then once I did that, those doors got shot. I mean, shot. Oh my goodness. Those doors got shut, closed, padlocked, and then I can move towards the new beginnings. You can't move forward to a new beginning if you got 2 and 3 doors over here that are open. The lessons need to be learned, and then those doors can be shut tight, and then you can move towards your new beginning. Heal, people. Continue. You're going to have good days and not so good days, but continue to stay on the path. Heal and learn to love yourself and self-care. Because as you heal these things within you, you're going to experience inner peace where you're unbothered by the noise around you. You learn ways to tune that stuff out. And one of the things for me is that how I heal was through music. You know, Laughter is the best medicine. Watching comedy shows, uplifting videos myself, and doing things self-care. Hitting the gym. I go twice a week. I don't know if I can do more than that right now, people, but that's what I do. And eating healthier. All those things is taking care of yourself. And then when I'm out and I'm talking to people, just how you doing? How's your day? With people who just come over and say hello, and I keep myself away from toxicity. And there was some situations where somebody was trying to bring that to my front door. No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm not that same Lisa Vaughn that's going to accept that. Here, I'm giving these burdens back to you because they don't belong to me. In fact, I'm going to transfer them to God, and then He's going to return it to you. Be unbothered with the noise around you, and make a pro and con list too of the things that people are bringing to your table. Are they bringing anything good and positive? And to me, it doesn't matter about family. That's just the name to me, because when I do the pro and con list, and if the cons outweigh the pros, then I'm setting boundaries. And if those boundaries are crossed, I'm cutting off, blocking, and deleting. I don't have time for it. Doesn't matter who, what, where, or why, because you know your self worth and you know what you deserve. And then walk toward the new beginnings. The new beginnings is a whole lot better, where people who care about you, find people who truly care about you, who are going to uplift you, who are going to be there with you, even though they can't change circumstances that are happening in your life. They can listen and support you by being there for you. That's what a true friend is. That is what true love is, to learn to turn that pain into power. And then you can be a testimony to other people, because one day somebody may come to you who is in need of something that you already gone through, and you would know how to help that person. And it's too much of the other stuff in this world today. People who are toxic, more of that exists than true love, and people who are genuine. I said something briefly yesterday about that. A person, a good hearted person with good intentions, it's hard to find that today. It's like looking for a needle in a haystack, because people are out for self, what they want, and I mean in a negative way, and this is why I keep my energy, like I pull back my energy from certain situations, because I am not doing all this work so that I can turn around and invite toxicity into my life. I know I deserve good, and I close many doors so that these new doors can open and I can walk through them. And now what I'm doing, one of my vows to God was, if He helps me as He has been, I would pay it forward. And one of the ways I pay it forward is on this channel, talking about my experiences and what I've gone through and how I've gotten through them. And people, do things every day for yourself. An hour, 2 hours, take time for self care. Self care could be playing an instrument, listening to some music, listening to uplifting videos, going to your favorite charity to volunteer, do volunteer work, or just, relaxing, watching something that, uplift you. Do things on a daily basis to self care. Make that pro and con list. If you feel like a lot of toxicity around you from certain individuals, make that pro and con list. Also, as important, listen to your intuition. If you're around a certain situation, circumstances, and your intuition, you feel bothered by it, like it's so uncomfortable to the point where it just makes you feel uncomfortable, listen to that. That's your intuition telling you something's wrong with this situation. And that's what I do today. I listen to my intuition. Sometimes I have people contacting me from fake accounts. I have an idea who, some of the people that I've cut off, block, and delete because they can't reach me. And I just read whatever it is, and then I just delete it and block it. I have no room for it, because when I look back in those situations as to why I closed those doors, one door was open for 10 years, and the abuse was so intense that it affected my son, even my relationship with him, as well as myself. And then I start to blame myself for staying in that situation far too long. And therapy helped me to forgive myself, forgive the situation, so that I can move on, and so that I can be the best of me, and I realized that that was a learning experience that I had to keep repeating until I learned the lesson. Like I said, life is full of lessons. If they're unlearned, we're going to repeat them. And then now I know my self-worth, so I don't fall into situations. And when I do go out, and if I, meet someone and it's just, I feel some kind of way, I'm not going back out again with that particular individual, But I'm not talking about little things. I'm talking about when your intuition is going off like a fire siren, like certain things that that are extreme toxicity. That's It's going to bring extreme toxicity to your life. The signs are there, the red flags, and I adhere to them. I don't ignore them anymore. So people, keep taking care of yourself, and it's important because as you feel that inner peace, you're going to grow, evolve, and also it is better to be at a place of inner peace because once you feel that peace, you can tune out the noise. Remember, people, it is better to be at a place of peace than to be broken down into pieces. That's the message today. Share it with others. Keep coming back to this channel. We're here to uplift, never to tear anyone down. And people, keep working on yourself little by little every day because nothing ventured is nothing gained. It's not going to happen overnight. It will take time, but keep being patient with yourself and you will see the results. I promise you that. Thank you guys for being here. I'll see you again tomorrow. I'm not sure what time, but please subscribe to the channel. You'll get a notification. Share these videos. Invite men and women to be here because we all have something that we are working on. Thank you again, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good evening.